All right. Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining. My name is Jayce Knerr, and my topic is Manage the Metaverse, Prioritizing Social Media for Environmental Outreach. So for my internship, I actually interned with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. The internship started this last June, and I extended it till the end of March, so it lasted about 8 months in total. I was located specifically at the Leavenworth National Fish Hatchery, which is located here centrally in Washington State. And with them, I created 7 mini documentaries and 1 Instagram reel video that was used for the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service's Instagram. And I created about 300 photographs that I did also send over to them. And with the sort of the research question in mind, what role does videography, photography, and sound play in an audience's responses to environmental related issues? So some context and background for my project is that social media presence is crucial for sharing information to the public and expanding your outreach. As technology keeps advancing and becoming more accessible, it has made documentation, preservation, and content creation much easier. With platforms like YouTube, it has created a new culture of information sharing that previous generations were not used to. So my work also extended with a few of the partners that were on site. That included the Mid-Columbia Fish and Wildlife Conservation Office, Trout Unlimited, or more specifically, the Beaver Crew is who I was working more specifically with, and then NOAA, which this kind of helped further broaden my body of work and help diversify my social media content that I had given over to the sites. During my internship, I also conducted independent research looking into effective video attributes, image professionalism, and case studies where data was collected to verify what aspects of media were most valuable. So some results that I found is that under high-stress situations, students performed better under multimedia-based questions rather than just text. And this study was specifically looking at medical students. Another source found that concise, structured videos between 7 and 15 minutes in length with hands-on video footage was one of the most important attributes. So this kind of relates to the graph below that I will talk about here in a second. And then audio depicts narrative meanings of spaces, objects, and characters within them. So audio is one sort of feature of video that is often overlooked and is actually very important, or one of the most important aspects into sort of creating a video that my graph below sort of didn't go into as much. And then if we look at the graph below, so the article is titled "What Comprises a Successful Education Science YouTube Video?" So this online survey was taken, and it was found that having real video footage and then second animations were the most important aspects of video, and sort of what they were meaning by real video was footage that maybe instead of using like photographs or stock footage, like actually having footage that is more sentimental, that can kind of connect the audience more with what your project's goals were, seemed to work out the best. And that's what a lot of the audience was sort of responding about. And if we look here at the broader implications, YouTube is the second largest search engine behind Google and can be utilized free of charge by any organization. Social media platforms have created ways to reach new audiences around the world. So we all sort of have these things with us called smartphones, or maybe laptop or computer. And the fact that we can live stream or share information to anybody around the globe is really cool and fascinating. And sort of by incorporating professional photography and videography elements, organizations will start to notice increased project outreach and further engagement from their surrounding communities. And the next slide here, I'm actually going to show, these are some more photographs from my internship that I'm going to talk about here briefly just for a little bit. So on the top left photo, that was working with the Beaver Crew. We were creating beaver analogs, which is where they were setting up a site by pre-creating dams. And these dams are going to kind of help set the beavers up and sort of set the ecosystem up to sort of be acclimated better for the beavers once when they relocate them there. I did try to get some wildlife photos. So there's a squirrel in there that I was able to capture. And then in the top middle image, that was taken with the NOAA. So they were doing some blood sampling on the small salmon. They're called fry, just seeing if they could see any genetic correlations between the fish. And on the top right, you'll see that the images, both of those are actually very similar and also different events. So the first one is showing the salmon spawning event, which takes place once a year at the Leavenworth National Fish Hatchery. This is where they take the 500 male and female spring Chinook salmon, and they fertilize the eggs and use them to create a brood of 1.2 million stock for the next year. And then on the top right image, that's actually the fish surplus event, So all the extra salmon that are caught, or excess salmon that are caught sort of during June or July, I would say, are given to the a few of the Eastern Washington tribes for sort of ceremonies and subsistence. And then if you look at the bottom images on the bottom left, those are taken in the enchantments, which I was fortunate enough to go up through a couple of times. And these are the dams at Nauta Lake. And then I do have some footage of the Snow Lake valve and dams that were up higher. And if you also look at the bottom middle image, that's just a behind the scenes shot of me shooting the beaver release video, which I'll show here actually in a second. And then the bottom right, or the bottom right two images, the first one is my site supervisor, actually, Margie. She was installing or helping some of the other biologists install a solar panel, and this solar panel is going to be used to power the equipment that's actually used to test the hydrology flows throughout the year, which is pretty fascinating. And then the bottom right photo, that's just an image of me with my camp set up when where we're at the base of Snow Lake. And then if you go to the next slide, this is normally, if I was doing this presentation live, I would just play the video. It's about, I think, just under 2 minutes in length, which would put my presentation about 8 minutes in total. And then after that, I would open it up for any questions. And if people were sort of maybe wanting to check out another video, I have a couple, or I think 4 more that I included in this PowerPoint slide presentation that I can kind of go over. And I won't do all of them, I think, out in one sitting, just so it doesn't take too long for everyone to be in there. But then after that, I'll kind of reset and start back over and begin the process again. And hopefully I at least want to show each video in each of the different groups. So I plan on doing, this presentation is hopefully 6-7 times if I can. So yeah, awesome. Thank you everyone for joining and watching my presentation.